Hello! This little video hopefully is going to be about feeding a baby pigeon. Now my baby pigeon that I got because its parents were killed and it was dislocated. I didn't steal it. But I'm assuming it was 7 to 10 days old when I got it. Right now it's probably about 2 weeks old. I got it last Friday. Today is Tuesday, so I've had it approximately 5 days and it seems to be doing really good. Why I want to make this video is because when it comes to looking up pigeons specifically as compared to parakeets and parrots and some of the other birds you see on the internet, I've discovered that there is a different way of feeding pigeons as opposed to some of these other birds, and I wanted to explain why. Picture a little robin. Robins open up their mouth, mom sticks their beak in there and feeds them down their throat. So I've watched all these videos and these guys are taking these syringes and putting it in the bird's crop and squirting in the back of the throat. This pigeon will not open its mouth to eat because that's not the way they eat naturally. What I've discovered from watching them, I work in a container yard and see hundreds of pigeons every day, is that mom will open her mouth and the baby bird sticks its beak in the mouth. So the bird naturally wants to stick its beak into an opening in order to eat. So using the syringe in the back of the throat really didn't work for this bird. And once I tried it this way, it worked perfectly, and that's kind of why I wanted to show this. So basically, what I'm going to show is how I made one of these little bird feeding devices. There's two other guys I've seen on the internet that had similar ones, and after looking at theirs, they didn't really explain how they made them or why they were actually using them. So that's kind of why I wanted to do this. So anyway, I just went to the local Paragon drugstore, gave them a sob story about this poor little bird, and we got these free bird feeders. There are 2 teaspoon syringes. I haven't seen them, it just says oral use, nothing special. I got 4 of them. What we're going to be making here is this tube with a latex cover, room for a beak to go inside, and a rubber band just to seal it. And this is going to be what the bird's going to stick his beak in. So, how I made one of those was just taking a razor blade on a cutting board, avoid fingers, and basically cut straight down. This stuff is, actually it's hard, but it's reasonably soft. It cuts really easy. I made one where I cut half of the tip off, and I use that as to load this feeder. To make the feeder that I have here, just taking the syringe, go right to the end, rock it back and forth without cutting off your fingers. Boom. Right there. Simple, nothing's sharp, nothing's gonna hurt the bird. Ends cut off, now it's straight through hollow. I cut. For the rubber, just take a regular latex glove. Look at 5 applicators. Take the latex glove, cut it off. And to cut the opening in the end when I was done, I just took a little pair of scissors and just roll it like a prophylactic, or however you pronounce that. Take the old one off here. It's just a regular rubber band. I only did 1 layer, I didn't double layer it or anything. I just kind of stick it on there. I'm trying to do this in one video so there isn't more than one part. So anyway, so that gives us our bird feeder. I'll come over here and I'll do a, you don't have to go anywhere. I'll just go over here and I'm going to clip a little, maybe a little more than 3/8 of an inch, a little more than 1/4 inch, because the bird's got to be able to get his beak in there without getting stuck. So you can just poke it through. The more the bird uses it, obviously the more it's going to open up. But just kind of so there's a little opening there. That one was kind of wore out, so I wanted to make another one. And there we have our bird feeder. The bird will actually, what I would do is I take my hand and I stick it kind of in there, and the bird tries to bury his head in there, and then once he gets his beak in there, then I'll apply the food. The food, which I've already kind of mixed up here. Number one important thing that I see on the internet, I'm no bird expert, is that this, my little helper over here getting in the way, that the bird food has to be between 102.5, 103 degrees up to 107 degrees, because bird has a crop in its chest. It goes into a crop, it's prior to the stomach to help digest and goes down the stomach. If it's too cold, bird doesn't digest it, you can get a bacterial infection, get sick, potentially die. If it's too hot, obviously it's like you and I drinking hot tea or coffee, you're going to burn the hell out of your throat, and it can actually cause a hole and leak into the pigeon's chest and kill it. Some of these other people, if you try a syringe and shoot it down the back of the throat, the crop is actually on one side. I'm not sure exactly which side, so I'm not even going to state, but if you shoot it down the wrong side, you shoot it down the bird's larynx, shoot it its lungs, and it will drown within 30 seconds. So this way I find easier because the bird eats at his own pace. Okay, so anyway, so I got my little one that I cut the tip off like halfway so it's not totally closed. The bird food that I made is kind of like a oatmeal consistency. I got a small can of cat food, I got a raw egg and some cream. Actually I used whipping cream, I figure the fat content will probably be good for the bird. And then I took some oatmeal and stuck it in a little hand blender and ground it up so you can kind of see a little bit of the texture. But it's kind of a thick consistency, and I made enough that pretty much feed the bird for the week. But I only warm up enough for one application, and when it warms up it really goos up or thins out a little more. So anyway, and then the temperature, shooting for 103 I think is a good average, because it's not so hot you got to worry about
Alexis,
burning the little guy.
go watch the movie.
And what I did, put it in a little bowl. I got a big bowl with hot water, which is now probably cooled down. And and if you're going to use a thermometer, get one of those ones that goes in an espresso cup. It's got the little dial, you know, it's got the little needle in here. Because this one you got to turn off, turn on, reset, and if you miss your window of opportunity, now it's flashing, you have to start all over. And this stuff was at 105 and it's already down to 92, so try to warm it back up. How many minutes we got on the video there?
7 minutes, 48 seconds.
7 minutes. So I probably am not going to be able to squeeze in the bird feeding on this video, seems how you're limited, I believe, to 10 minutes. But, now my water is not hot enough. So anyway, that's how I mix it up. I'm just going to cut this off at 8 minutes. I'll make part 2 of the video, and I will get it in the syringe and actually get the bird and show you how I feed the bird, and you'll see how excited the little penny the pigeon actually gets when it comes time for feeding. So anyway, check out part 2. This is a prep. If you've got any questions, just leave a little comment. I might even stick my email on there. I guess I can say my email because then all these computer hackers won't get it. carbonfab@gmail.com. Carbon, carbonfab@gmail.com. Email any questions you got. If I don't know, I'll look it up. If you can't find it, see what we can come up with. Anyway, that's part 1. Part 2, getting it in there, feeding the bird, making the bird happy. Check it out. Thanks.